All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Speed Racing Network, the Xfinity Series, where tonight we have this huge race. Lots of stuff on the line tonight in the Sparkle and Shine 165 at Texas. My name is Sean Griffith. I am here with Jake Roel. Jake, how's it going tonight?
Doing well, doing well. Getting ready here to roll off at Texas. It's going to be a big one. You know, everything's bigger in Texas, so here we go tonight.
Everything is bigger in Texas, including the prizes. And tonight, for the first time ever, the winner of tonight's race is going to win a 5-week Xfinity Series sponsorship courtesy of Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing and NexDiag.
And you know, Sean, if it wasn't for sponsors like Sparkle and Shine and NexDiag, you know, we wouldn't be able to do things like this. So it's awesome to be giving away 5 races of sponsorship for these guys if they win the race tonight. It's going to be awesome to see who gets it. You know, it's going to push them right into the start of the season.
Now, NexDiag and Sparkle and Shine have come together to do this in each of our 3 series. And so this is the first one we're giving away right here tonight at Texas, where everything is definitely bigger.
Absolutely. It's going to be good to see. You know, we got 110 laps here, one fast repair. So Texas is gonna show us what these boys are made of.
And for those of you out there that really don't know what's going on here, because this is Speed Racing Network, we've got a lot of stuff going on all the time. So let's talk about the series itself. We do have the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. Different levels of competition, different levels of money as well.
Right, and like you said, 3 different series. Different skill levels. That's okay, but the same product you're going to see on the track is awesome racing here. And Speed Racing Networks is 3 different series. Going to be a great season. Obviously, here in the Xfinity Series, a 20-week season beginning next Thursday, January 7th. We're running fixed setups with only one fast repair, Sean, so you know what that means. Got to keep it off the walls and keep it clean.
Yeah, it's $10 per week to get in. We'll have weekly and season-long payouts, $500 for first place at the end of the season, $200 team championship. Another thing that we haven't really talked about too much this preseason is if you win a race in the Xfinity Series, you get an automatic entry into the Cup Series that same race that week.
Right, and you get yourself a win. You can come battle it out Sunday nights with us in the Cup Series. Prove your worth. Hey, you could find yourself a spot on a team next season or something like that. You just never know what could happen. Great opportunity for these Xfinity Series drivers. It's definitely going to be something to watch this year.
And as if Sparkle and Shine and NexDiag haven't given us enough, they're also sponsoring the Hard Charger Award tonight, which basically means the person that gains the most spots throughout the race tonight will get an additional $10.
Exactly. Sparkle and Shine before the Even 5 race sponsorship, just giving out tons of money, which you love to see, honestly, especially if you're one of these racers. Because, we're here in a preseason event and they're giving out money. Obviously the Hard Charger, great way to make a little extra change in the pocket.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, the other thing with Sparkle and Shine and what they're doing here tonight, along with NexDiag, I mean, how many times do you actually get a chance to be on a sponsored team on something that you love to do? I mean, it's just rare.
Oh, I mean, it really is. It's something you'd never think about having the opportunity to do, but these guys are going to be able to, check that box off and, be able to say, hey, I'm sponsored in an iRacing league. Not many people have that opportunity, like you pointed at. So, I think tonight's going to be quite the race to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to the hard charger that we were talking about, we do have somebody that's teamed up with Speed Racing Network that is the hard charger himself. So this is Kane Cook. And Kane, for those of you that don't know, races in the Coca-Cola series, which is the highest level of iRacing you can go. And what he is known for is he has more hard charger awards on the iRacing service than literally anyone.
Like you just said, obviously Kane Cook, he knows what he's doing out here on the sim. To be the top in the world on iRacing, with the most hard chargers, which, you gain the most positions in your race. So, you're avoiding wrecks, you're battling through the field. He obviously knows what he's doing. And like you said, he's in the Coca-Cola series, the top platform of sim racing on iRacing. So if you, a couple of your friends, or if you're in a league looking for some training, coaching, anything like that, Kane Cook, which is on our website, Sean, you can sign up and get yourself in one of those sessions with him.
Definitely, that's speedracingnetwork.com. He does have some spots already available there on speedracingnetwork.com where you can go on there. You can pay for some single sessions with him, some double sessions with him, or you can pay for a group session also. And so, lots of different things to do. And let me just explain the hard charger portion of this really quick, because Kane Cook actually started a second account on iRacing, and he said, I'm going to do nothing but start from the back every single race. And he turned that account into over a 7,000 I rating. So to put that in perspective, our top guys top out at 4,000 here in this league. So this guy went to 7,000 starting from the back of the pack every single race.
It's just nuts. I mean, hey, he's obviously into sim racing, so to make a second account and kind of complete that feat, he knows what he's doing. Also, just want to say, my teammate in the Cup Series was actually fortunate enough to be in a training or a coaching session by Kane this past weekend. Dean Brummett absolutely loved it. He said everyone that was in there just soaked everything up like a sponge. Learned a ton from him. Worthwhile. And if you're interested, please check it out. Definitely will help you out here in iRacing.
Absolutely. Now let's get into who we're going to see tonight. We do have 20 drivers out there right now, but we do have these drivers are already on teams for the most part, at least. And so let's take a look at them. So we'll start off with Rev Racing, and this is a team that they've been working all off season to find the perfect people to drive in this Xfinity Series.
Yep, and like you just said, that's all they love to practice. Adam Pettit is the facilitator for Rev Racing. He's got his 5 here, and Sean Dice, Aaron Gerwitz. Missing you, buddy. I know you're not out there on the track today. Got a concussion, so totally understand that. Marshall Stanley, Greg Olenek, and Mark Brown. Fabulous 5 right here. So you're going to see them up front a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be all over the place. And yes, Aaron Gerwitz, we hope you get better. The concussion was not from iRacing, I promise. But definitely he is on the mend, and he will be back for week 1, hopefully. So, but now we got Bronco Motorsports. And last night's Cup Series race, they put on a show last night.
They definitely did, Sean. Me and Dean were giving them our all there last night at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But Chris Massey putting a lot of talent here together for his Xfinity team. Nathaniel Mon, Logan Joyner, Greg Joyner on iRacing, Nick Gowan, and Brad Williams. And obviously, as you see, they're still looking for that 5th driver on their team. Again, Chris knows what he's doing. He's got all the contacts, so you'll be seeing that team get filled out.
Next up, we got Hammer Down Motorsports, and so this is the old Tank Racing, and Tank Racing really put together a great team, a great core of drivers. Well, Zach Taylor has joined them, and Zach is a great driver in his own right, so be on the lookout for Hammer Down.
No doubt here. Obviously racing with Derek Da Silva, Devin Zimmerman, and Mike Lepicki last year in Season 2 for Mid-South Madness. These 3 guys, with the addition of Zach Taylor, the 3 I touched on at the beginning, they're a solid core. They do a lot together. They've got endurance series, and I personally think when you start a team for a league, that's just something you really need. That cohesion with everybody just kind of brings you all together, and they're obviously going to be putting it hammered down. They've got fast drivers, and they performed well here last year at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, yes, they did, and so we'll see how they do this time around. But next up, we've got R&D Motorsports. So this is one of the teams from Tennessee that's been put together by David Duke, and there are a lot of names on this team that we've heard of before and we've seen in prior races. Daniel Bowler being the first one up there.
A lot of speed here, Sean. Not surprised when you got a team created by David Duke here at R&D Motorsports. Daniel Bowler, if you watched any of our races last year, he was always up front. Someone battling for the lead, lap in and lap out. Chris Heller, one of those new guys that David Duke brought onto his team, but he's been quick. He showed up. You also got Eric Huck, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing.
It's Hoke. Yeah.
Oh, Eric Hoke. He's been quick in our recruitment races, along with his friend Curtis Young, who had a chance to win the last one. And as well, Cody Havens, who we've seen a lot of, another quick driver here.
And I'll tell you out there in the chat already, David Duke is saying that breaking news, Team SRN and R&D to the front. And let's take a look at Team SRN because there's some great drivers on this one too.
Exactly. We got the factory team, so to speak, here for Team SRN, filled out with Wayne Rayborn, Danny Setzer, Bo Tiffany, Daniel Keith Jr., and Stan Hausman. These five guys are very, very consistent. They put themselves in the right positions. They don't do anything to get themselves in wrecks on their own. They might get caught up in something that's out of their control. These guys, they're always up front. They're running solid laps, and they're just a solid group here.
And even more than that, all five of them are here tonight, and so basically they have a 5 out of 21 shot to take home this sponsorship. So just getting your team to the track sometimes is the hardest part.
Right, and like you said, they've got 5 horses in the race tonight for that 5-race sponsorship brought to us by Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing and NexDiag. So, I mean, hey, they've got the most chances at it. So, I think they'll be giving them a run for it.
Next up, we got R2D2, and so there are a couple of open positions out here. So if there's any drivers out there that want to race Xfinity cars with us, there are some open positions on this team, and it's a fantastic one in itself. Troy Dow, one of our winning drivers from last season in Mid-South Madness, Jay Graves, who was one of our cleanest drivers last season, and also, if I remember correctly, was up front for a lot of those races. Then Kevin Winker, who has shown a lot already. He raced last night with the Cup Series and did really well there. So good little core to this team.
No doubt. I just want to point out, Jay Graves, I think, is one of our most underrated drivers here in this league. He missed a handful of races last year, so he just wasn't able to, get in on points or anything like that. But he's a very fast driver that just kind of gets blanketed by, not showing up maybe every week. But R2D2 has a gem in Jay Graves. And like you said, Sean, I mean, he's clean. Obviously, he was up there in the running for, least incident points in our league last year.
And that's what it's going to take this season also, with only one fast repair as opposed to 2 fast repairs last season. The cleaner drivers are going to move to the front.
No doubt. It's gonna be a mind game for yourself when you're racing in these races. It's something we've all got to adjust to with, coming from 2 fast repairs to 1 here this season in the Xfinity Series. Just another curveball in the formula to get yourself up front, in position to win one of these races.
Next up, last but not least, H2K Motorsports. So hard to kill racing, and that's basically what they are, man. So Jovi Sakiped is the number 3 car. Ryan Ducombe, great driver there. Troy Techmeyer, Josh Marcy, Dustin Scruggs. I mean, H2K has come to play.
They definitely have. I've only raced with a couple of these guys, just kind of in official races or just hosted races. But Joseph DuPont is very dedicated to iRacing, whether it's oval or road racing. So, he's going to want those same type of guys on his own team that take it serious. They put in the time and effort. So you just know Hard to Kill Motorsports, H2K, is going to be up front and giving it their all this season.
Well, let's get out there on the track because we have wrapped up our qualifying, and it looks like Christopher Heller from R&D Motorsports is up front, followed by Marshall Stanley from Rev Racing.
And then right behind Marshall Stanley, we got another R&D Motorsports driver, and Daniel Bowler rolling off 3rd. Ryan Ducombe of H2 Motorsports coming out in 4th place. And rounding out the top 5 is Zachary Taylor of Hammer Down Motorsports.
Yeah, Troy Techmeyer from H2K up there towards the front in 6th position. Mark Brown for Rev Racing in 7th. Then Devin Zimmerman, another driver from Hammer Down Motorsports, in 8th.
And then rounding out the top 10 here in 9th and 10th is going to be Team SRN drivers of Wayne Rayborn in 9th, and then Bo Tiffany in 10th. Then we got another R&D Motorsports driver in 11th, Curtis Young, as well as Greg Olenek out of Rev Racing, going to be rolling off P12.
Yeah, we've got, man, looking at this lineup that we have just in the top 12, and of course we've got 21 drivers total on the track. Who are you picking? Because all of these guys are great.
It's tough. We got a lot of speed here, some newer guys, so to speak, as well as some guys that we've seen a lot. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna pick Daniel Bowler. He was obviously fast here last season. when we were here for season 2. So my pick, Sean, it's going to be the number 6 machine of Daniel Ballard for R&D Motorsports.
Man, that's a great pick. You know what? I'm going to go in a little bit of an opposite direction. I'm actually going to go hammer down motorsports. I've seen Zach Taylor win some of these races before, and I think that he might pull this one out as well.
I like it. It's not a bad pick either. I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong anywhere here throughout the field.
All right, and as the cars drive off, and we're about to get this party started. Like we said, 21 drivers on the track. And so with that few drivers out here, I mean, typically we have 30 to 40. With that few drivers, do you think maybe we'll see a caution-free race?
You know, I would hope so. You know, on a restart, guys might not be anticipating cold tires. You know, some guys might want to try to get to the lead. So we could see anything here, Sean, but hopefully, you know, they just kind of settle in, get in a groove, and we'll see some good racing here to start off this race. But hey, you never know. I mean, we are in Texas and everything's bigger, so you just don't know.
You never know until we get there. So we're going to take a look at Christopher Heller here for R&D Motorsports there in that number 10 car. On his outside, Marshall Stanley from Rev Racing in that number 25. And they're going to bring us around, and they're about to get us started, Jake.
They definitely are. You know, they're pulling those belts tight, Sean. They're getting ready. They're just waiting for this pace car to dive off here as they come out of 4. It's going to be interesting. Turn 1 here is a little odd. It's more flat of a degree banking than 3 and 4 here, so it's going to be interesting to see. But here we go with Christopher Heller leading him to the green, Sean. And he's going to hold off, and he's going. We got the green flag here. Christopher Heller, Marshall Stanley, though, going to give him a good run into turn 2. As they head off into 1, Daniel Ballard is going to follow Christopher Heller and that number 6 machine.
You know, this is one of those races where you want to get down to the bottom quickly. Oh, we already have a little bit of a wiggle from Christopher Heller there, opening up the gap on the bottom for Daniel Ballard to take that lead.
Definitely did. Got a little loose there out of 2, and Ballard was ready to pounce as he goes into 3. He's going to bring the 14 machine of your pick, J.R. Hager, Zachary Taylor. At 4 they go. Daniel Ballard is going to lead the first lap here at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm sure Christopher Heller is probably a little just going to be patient. Might have lost the lead, but he knows he's fast, so just got to take your time getting back up there. Don't use your stuff up or get yourself in a bad spot.
Oh, yeah, lots of time to go in this race, 108 more laps. So we've got plenty of time for people to catch up. There should be some pit strategy involved as well, so not to worry here on lap 2.
Not at all, and we see Marshall Stanley move into 3rd place, going to make that pass on the inside of Christopher Heller as they come to the stripe. Daniel Ballard, though, still leading at the point, though, but his mirror is getting filled up with some more Zachary Taylor in that 14 machine as they go through turns 1 and 2.
Man, I love watching Zach Taylor race because he just takes no prisoners, man. He dives that car down into the corner and just hopes that it sticks.
No doubt. I mean, you know, as a racer, as a fellow competitor, that's what you like to see. You know, I like guys that are like that. I guess it reminds me of myself. I'll go out and say it, but, you know, just giving it 110%, 24/7 in the middle of a race. You just like to see that because you know he's going to go out there and give it all. You know, and why not? Especially for this race. You know, he's trying to get 5 races worth of sponsorship. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah, you got to get out there and you got to give it your all. You know, let's go back a little bit further in the pack and let's talk about a couple of guys back here. So Devin Zimmerman and Mike Lepicki. So Devin Zimmerman running in the 13th position and Mike Lepicki running in the 15th position. Both of these guys, phenomenal racers. They are very, very patient.
Definitely, you know, like you just said, they are both really good racers. There's something about them. They do not mind being back here for a whole long time. It just kind of reminds me of watching races in the early 2000s, things like that. You know, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, those two, they wouldn't use their stuff up. You know, I talked to Zimmerman today, and he said he's really going to need to be cautious and patient this year with that one fast repair. Unlike we see right now for the battle for the lead as it's tightening it up. Daniel Ballard's got 3 cars in his mirror. It's going to be a handful.
He's also coming up behind. It looks like that might be Wayne Rayburn, who had to stop into the pits for some reason. So Wayne is already 2 laps behind, and he looks like he might be getting lapped here shortly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see. Hopefully he'll be able to get his laps, you know, back with wave rounds or lucky dogs, things like that. Well, right now, Zachary Taylor is going to dive to the inside of Daniel Ballard. As they go into one, kind of washes up a little bit. Ballard is going to give him a run on the outside, though. They go side by side, and that's just going to bring that third place car of Christopher Heller ever so closer up behind these two as they go into three.
And that's the only problem with that take no prisoners attitude from Zach Taylor is if you dive it in like that, a lot of times your car starts to wash up the track a little bit, and it can be dangerous for those around you. And the smart drivers like Daniel Baldler, you saw him back off when he went down to that corner. He didn't want him to wash up into him. So go ahead, take the spot for now, kid. You're okay.
Exactly. We're at lap 8, lap 7 when that just happened. So, Ballard's not going to risk it. Not worth getting tore up or put in the wall. We're just losing a ton of ground right now. Like you said, just you go. I'll run my race. I'll reel you back in. I'll get you. But Zachary Taylor, though, he's going to lead this lap, and he's starting to pull away a little bit here on Chris Heller. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on as they continue on the longer run here, whether or not the pace of Zach Taylor can be kept and grow that lead, or these 4 or 5 drivers that you see behind him are going to start reeling them in.
Yeah, you have to kind of wonder, what is that doing to his tires?
Well, Sean, I can tell you firsthand. It's what I like to do, and unfortunately, the longer the run is, your tires do wear out. But, hey, you never know. We could get a yellow here in a few laps, and that's all right because he's going to come down, get 4 fresh Goodyear tires, and he can go out and do it again. As you see him go a little higher, running a different line than he was. Interesting to see, I guess, because higher you up, the more tire wear you're going to actually use. So.
Yeah, we got Nick D out there in the chat right now saying he's going to have to pit early, and that might be the case. But one thing that I've learned here on iRacing, Nick and everybody that's watching right now, you just have to remember that everyone has their own strategy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, you can only pit so early. If you start pitting too early every single time, if we do have green flag pit stops, especially if it's more than one, as we see the leaders of our race get a little contact down the back stretch. You start pitting early, though, and you do 1 or 2 green flag pit stops, you could run yourself short of the race and have to actually, stop an additional time, which would just kill your race. You're going to lose every spot on the lead lap and not have a good finish like you should have. So it'll be something to keep an eye out as we, continue to go further in this race.
Yeah, lots of great racing up here as Marshall Stanley follows Daniel Baldler into second place. Zachary Taylor will float back to third.
He will. He's going to try. Seemed like he was going to get to the inside of Stanley, but Marshall dove it in there a little bit to keep him behind him as he sets sights on Daniel Baldler for the lead here. And as we just pointed out, I got to imagine the tires are just starting to go away from the 4T machine as we see him back in third place. But he is, he's still keeping up with our leaders.
Yeah, we still have a lot of good racing back behind, but this front 7 has kind of broken away a little bit.
They definitely have, the top 5 are all with under a second, so you can basically throw a blanket on our top 5 drivers right now. But hey, there's still good racing everywhere around, and you never know. Some guys, like we pointed out, Devin Zimmerman, Mike Lepicki, they're just cruising. There's no point in pushing too hard. It's still 97 laps to go here at Texas, so we're a long ways away. So anything can happen in sim racing.
Well, we're going to check back here really quick. Let's go back to 7th position, Curtis Young for R&D Motorsports. Nice little paint scheme that he's got going on. This is one of Daniel Baldler's teammates as well. So they've got a good thing going at R&D.
They definitely do. This is kind of a driver I think, can really compete in this league. He's shown up for the recruitment race at Auto Club, had a strong finish there. I really do think good things are going to happen here for R&D Motorsports with the 94 machine of, Curtis Young, as well as the rest of their team. And you just see him, he's buying his time right now. He's kind of closed up on these leaders, though. So I think he knows what he's doing with this. The longer the run goes, he's going to just keep moving up that leaderboard.
Well, up front, Daniel Baldler started to break away just a touch from Marshall Stanley, about a quarter of a second. So not far enough away for him to be comfortable yet, but also not close enough that he has to worry too much right now.
Not at all, but, right now Marshall Stanley's about a little bit under a tenth a lap quicker than our leader, Daniel Baldler. So if this thing stays green for a little bit, we're going to have ourselves a battle for the lead here between Marshall Stanley and Daniel Bowdler.
And I guarantee you both of them would not have it any other way. Both very, very respectful of each other, but also hard racing each other all the time. Both really good on road courses as well. Let's jump back here to another R&D Motorsports. So let's look at Eric Hoke. And again, if this paint scheme looks somewhat familiar, basically he and Curtis Young are running about the same paint scheme, just different colors. But he's the one that designed these paint schemes, according to Nick D out there in the chat. So we appreciate that. And then Ted Rekich saying that he sees those back ends of the cars coming around slowly but surely. And that's what happens as you get deeper and deeper into a tire run. Those back ends start to slide out and you lose control.
They definitely do, Sean. You know, the longer they go on a green flag run here, it's going to loosen the car up. As we see Ballard get a little loose there from clipping the apron, it's going to bring Marshall Stanley there. As he saw Ballard almost get into the wall. Battle for the lead's tightening up. It's going to be good. Two guys that just love to be up front.
They are right there on the edge of hitting that wall, but those two have broken away by about a second over Zach Taylor in third.
They definitely have, and we see the move here by Marshall Stanley in the 25 for Rev Racing. Going to go to the inside of Bowdler, take over the lead. We'll see what he can do with it if he can start pulling away, you know, even further from the rest of the field. And you just saw there was a little contact there for
Zach
third.
Taylor!
Oh, what a save! Keeps it off the other competitors.
But there will be a yellow.
Heck of a save if there's no damage on the 14 machine. I'm not sure if he came
I don't
up
think he hit anything. He might have gotten tapped from behind, but I don't think he hit anything at all during that.
I don't think he did. It's hard to tell by that angle. Heck of a save, that's for sure. I mean, could have been way worse. You know, multiple cars could have been torn up and using that first fast repair of the night.
Looks like he and Mark Brown. Oh, yeah, Mark Brown kind of washed up the track a little bit there. Got into that left quarter panel, and Zach, and we got a little tap. That was the number 10. That was Christopher Heller for R&D Motorsports that he got into there as well. So, you know, 2 or 3 guys are going to have some damage there. So Mark Brown might have some. Then you've got, obviously, Zach Taylor, and then also number 10, Christopher Heller, will likely have some damage there as well. But besides that, everybody stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, no other cars besides, you know, those 3 that, you know, that got involved there. It was kind of odd. It almost looked like net code because you see the 68 was inside the left rear quarter panel of Zach Taylor. But obviously they do make contact, which starts the slide of the 14 machine. Heck of a job. I just want to point out, you know, those 2 guys that were behind those 2 initially of not getting themselves involved and not checking up and getting run over by one another. But I would definitely have to say the 14 and the 10 will be using that first fast repair of the night.
Yeah, we're just taking a look. Let's go back and see this from Ryan Ducombe's point of view as well.
I'm sure it was making his eyes go wide, Sean. You know, that's not what you want to see. But heck of some driving right there by these drivers we have in our Xfinity Series to avoid anything bigger than it was. You know, great driving there by Ryan Ducombe, as well as Curtis Young behind him, not getting themselves caught up.
Everybody comes down into the pits here on lap 21, and so everybody's going to come out with fresh tires and fuel. Nobody taking just right sides, everybody taking all 4.
Smart move. Not worth the gamble right now to take 2. You know, if this goes on a long run again, going to lose yourself a lot of time on the guys. But Daniel Ballard is going to take over our lead once we do get back to green flag racing, with Marshall Stanley right behind him in the 68 of Mark Brown for Rev Racing. So you got 2 Rev guys trying to get themselves around the 6 car of Daniel Ballard. Be interesting to see how they maneuver, and you know, maybe they try to work with one another as they're sitting in the same Discord together, so they can kind of time it out together. So it'll be a good restart, I think.
Yeah, it's always good to have your teammates in the Discord with you. Let's check in really quick and find out who our hard charger is right now. And it looks like it's going to be Jovi Sagiped, who currently is the hard charger. You can see him in that number 3 car driving for H2K Motorsports. And so he has moved up 11 positions. He started off in 18th, and now he is all the way up to 7th already.
Oh, yeah, he's got 11 spots in, about 20 laps of green flag racing. So awesome job there. Love the paint scheme. Nothing wrong with a Martin Truex Jr. Looking good. Obviously, it's helping him move through this field. I'm sure he's going to become a player of this race, especially now that they re-rack him, line them up together, and we'll see what Jovi can do here on this restart.
Another one of his teammates for H2K Motorsports is Ryan Ducombe, and I know Joseph Dupont, who's kind of the leader of H2K Motorsports, was letting me know that Ryan was super excited. He wanted his paint scheme tonight. He wanted to get out here in this thing. So there it is, beautiful paint scheme. I'm not sure if Joseph Dupont is the one that does those paint schemes for them, or if he just has somebody that does that. But good job on that.
Oh yeah, I really like that. I'm a big fan, Sean, of the plain and simple paint scheme. So this is right in that alley. Obviously, he wanted to look good when he was on TV, and we're showcasing it here. So again, job well done. Whether it's by Joseph Dupont or whomever they had paint this, Ryan Ducombe's car is looking good.
Yeah, going back a little ways, so this is Kevin Winker for R2D2 Motorsports, and so one of a 3-person team, and he's the only one on the team that is out here today, but we have seen him do really, really well in other races, so I'm looking forward to see him moving up from his 20th position right now, moving all the way up through the pack.
Absolutely. He ran last night with us in the Cup Series race at Charlotte, and he was doing job up there, or running really well with us up in the Cup Series. So, like you said, I definitely think he'll be finessing his way through the field and, improving on that 20th spot right now.
And then we do have Wayne Rayburn out there who, like I said before, he had to pit for some reason. We're not really sure what that reason was, but now he is pitting once again. He is scoring a lap down right now, but he just got a lap back on that caution, so he's hoping for another one.
No doubt. Being laps down is not fun, but you gotta wait. You gotta grind through it. It sucks. It's not the most pleasant thing for a league race, but the yellows are gonna fall. So he's the only guy lapped down. So he just needs one more, Sean, and he's back on the lead lap, and he can start moving through the field. So we'll be seeing a lot out of that 12 car tonight, I think, once he's back on the lead lap.
And that's all it takes. All you need is a chance. If you have a chance, then you're looking pretty good for the remainder of the race.
If you're telling me there's a chance, Sean, I love it. You're absolutely right. Anything can happen. So, we saw last night a couple leaders take themselves out, and they were flying through the infield and had some new guys up front. But right now up front, Sean, we got the 6 machine, Daniel Bowdler, leading the control here. He's hard on the gas pedal. Going to bring him to the line. Gap in the field a little bit here. Going to be interesting to see how it happens for second place Marshall Stanley, see if he can get back up to him. But right now, Daniel Ballard in the lead here.
Yeah, Daniel got a great restart there. Marshall Stanley not too terribly far behind, so they're going to be 1-2 just like they've been pretty much the entire race already.
Right, and you see the 25 car starting to close in. That draft will help you down the straightaways here at Texas, so it's going to bring them ever so closer to Daniel Ballard, as they head into turn 1. And, I just want to point out, during that yellow, Ballard was saying how tricky turn 1 and 2 is. So, if our leader of the race is saying that, everyone else is dealing with the same thing. And I think that's going to be our hot spot for some more incidences as this race progresses, Sean.
Yeah, a lot of fun that we have with these fixed setups is if one person's having struggles, pretty much everybody's having struggles. Oh, and there he goes.
Oh, man.
That was coming off of 4, though.
Heck of a save. Went for a little jump.
Curtis Young up in the wall.
His teammate in the fence because of that. Just trying to make sure nothing else happened. Hopefully it didn't damage that. But the real winner of that whole incident right there, Marshall Stanley, going to take the lead as they head into 3, bringing his teammate along right now, Mark Brown in the 68. Oh, Stanley almost did the same thing. He's getting a little loose.
Do you think there's oil on the track or what?
You would think. I think we got to put it out if there is, because Daniel Ballard is a dirt racer for anyone that doesn't know. So, if he's losing the car, there's something's up, but obviously not having oil on the track. We're on iRacing, and that's just not a thing yet. Hopefully it never is.
Not a thing yet, that's right.
Too fun.
that would make things really, really interesting, just random oil spots on the track.
Yeah, you aren't kidding. It would definitely throw us all for a loop here. As we got Marshall Stanley, though, just keeping that lead as they go into turn 1.
Yeah, Rev Racing right now 1 and 2 with Marshall Stanley and Mark Brown there. Christopher Heller pulling up 3rd place for R&D Motorsports.
Exactly, good showing from these guys so far. It's gonna be tough, I think, to really pass in 3 and 4, because if I remember correctly from the race last season, it was kind of flat out for the first 5 or 6 laps, and you would just ever so slightly start backing it up. So it's really going to come down to how you get through 1 and 2 to get your run down the backstretch into 3. We see Marshall Stanley still out front. Some good racing in the back of the pack. Back there for about 4th place.
Yeah, going back there, it's Daniel Bowler. So Daniel Bowler trying to get back up there. He's trying to get around Ryan Ducombe here, and then right behind him, Jovi Sagiped has moved all the way up into the 6th position now. So he's up 12 spots already.
He's definitely charging through this field for that hard charger. You know, he's making good time. You know, even though he's stuck behind these two right now, battling for 4th. Jovi, I think, is going to come. He's going to keep moving forward, and we'll see him up front.
Back just a little ways, we got Josh Marcy working on Curtis Young here for 8th position.
So you see a lot of H2K Motorsports cars up here. You know, it's obviously great to see for these guys, you know, showcasing what they've got, you know, kind of giving everyone in the league, you know, something to see. As we see Daniel Bowler get to the bumper, the 7 car of Ryan Ducombe, kind of loosen him up, move him up the track, kind of saying, hey, bud, I'm here, I'm trying to go. You might have saw me flying through the grass and getting a little bit of air, but I'm going back up front.
Yeah, it doesn't look like getting that little bit of air has hurt the car at all, because he is definitely moving faster than anybody else right now.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the fastest, if not the fastest, cars on the track right now. Obviously has no damage from that, thankfully. So he's I know him. You know, he's just trying to get back up front. Hopefully he doesn't burn his stuff up, though. Trying to get there. We see Devin Zimmerman making a move on the inside of his teammate.
Oh, and that 18 Troy Techmeyer just ever so close to touching there. But yeah, Devin's trying to follow Zach Taylor up through the pack.
Yeah, Zimmerman being very cautious there. Could have pushed the issue, maybe you know, got a little tight or something like that, and got into the door of the 18, but he kind of lifted, just let them collect themselves, and here he goes, moving forward, like you said, following his teammate. Then he got Danny Setzer in the 17 car for Team SRN here, following them as well. So you got some guys that are just hanging out, so to speak, maybe just waiting to move forward. But the battle for 5th is heating up here.
Yeah, Jovi is putting some pressure on Ryan Ducombe. Now, they are teammates. That doesn't mean that Jovi doesn't want that spot.
No, and it also doesn't mean Ryan wants to give it up, even though they're teammates. So we'll see what happens here, though. I think it's just still a little too early to be, you know, kind of holding your teammate up or anything like that. So I'm sure we'll see here within a lap or two, you know, Ryan maybe let him go, maybe not. We'll just see how that works out for these two H2K Motorsports drivers.
Right now, these two are the closest two on the track for the time being, so we'll just keep an eye on this race for a little while. I will tell you that, we got Curtis Young. Curtis Young blinked out. That's all that was, blinking out. Oh, I saw him dropping down my leaderboard, and and that was Danny Setzer up in the wall.
I think guys were just kind of reacting, thinking it was a wreck. You know, when someone blinks, it throws smoke. So when you're, you know, locked in and focused on racing, and you see smoke, you know, you try to move away from it, check up, and unfortunately for Danny Setzer, it looked like he did tag the wall. Hopefully the damage isn't going to kill his ride too much so far until he can get it down pit lane and fix it. As he tries to get to the inside of Devin Zimmerman.
Yeah, this is some good racing back here towards the back of the pack, but moving back up to the front, Marshall Stanley has broken away. He is 0.8 of a second ahead of his teammate Mark Brown.
Yeah, you see Marshall starting to, you know, every lap seems just a little bit faster, and that's what you want to see when you're the race leader. Just ever so slightly moving away, increasing your lead. But it'll be good to watch here what happens between these two teammates. If we end up having green flag pit stops, how it all pans out for them. If they're telling one another, "Hey, I'm coming down this time." If they follow each other, they try to one up each other, and one goes for the undercut, trying to get out back on track with fresher tires so he can put down faster laps. But Marshall Stanley right now is gonna keep on rolling and moving forward and try to pull away from the 68 machine.
And don't look now, but Daniel Baldler has worked his way all the way back up into 4th, and he is trailing his own teammate, Christopher Heller, by about 0.4 of a second, but he is closing fast.
He definitely is. Baldler's putting down some hot laps right now, trying to close in on his teammate. Oh, I thought he was going to get into the outside wall. You could see the rear end kind of starting to slip away from him as he came out of 4. But Daniel Baldler just charging his way back to the front. It's good to see, even though he had a little mess up on his own, but he's making his way back up front.
Yeah, just checking, and so far Joby is still our hard charger right now. He is up 13 positions now, just working his way methodically through the pack.
I think he's taking his time. Obviously he's got really good pace in that car. You see him going to the inside of Daniel Baldler, going to take over the 4th spot. So he is coming to life here in that number 3 Bass Pro Shops car. Going to take over 4th place and set his sights on the number 10 of Christopher Heller for R&D Motorsports.
And Marshall Stanley is just loving life right now, still 0.7 of a second ahead. Mark Brown about a second ahead of 3rd place Christopher Heller. So they've kind of really broken away. Whatever Rev Racing has found here, they have found it faster than anybody else.
Oh yeah, and it's not a surprise. I don't think to either one of us to see 2 Rev Racing cars up front. They love their practice sessions. They put a lot of time and effort into things. This is only a preseason race, but they take it. They don't let anything go by. They know they got a chance to go get sponsorship money for themselves. So they're going to do the same thing as if it was a regular season race. So I am not shocked one bit to see these 2 drivers up front. Marshall Stanley in the command of the race still. So we've got another battle here. Daniel Baldler under fire from another H2K Motorsports driver. Ryan Ducombe going to go to the inside here in 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looked like Daniel Baldler was moving up through the pack, but now he's fallen a couple of positions since we talked about that. And now the question is there something wrong with the car?
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for him to really know until either A, we get a yellow flag and he come down pit lane, or green flag pit stops, which is going to be tough just as he's continuing his, ever so slightly drop back further and further in the pack. Obviously he was running 4th. Now he's back to 6th place. So, but hey, we still got 50 or 66 laps to go here. So anything's possible for Daniel Baldler to get a new set of tires if he has to, use a faster pair, or repair a minimal amount of time, not worthy of using a faster pair. So I think if I'm the 6th car, obviously you're not too happy, but hey, you got a long way. You'll get back up there.
Well, we're starting to see things heat up towards the back of the pack, as you can see this line getting closer and closer to each other. So we're keyed in right now on Danny Setzer, who had a scrape with the wall a little bit earlier, but he is catching up to Curtis Young.
Oh, man. Real close action there. Setzer really got a good run through the center of the corner on Curtis Young. We'll see what he does here in the 3. But again, that 18 car of Troy Techmeyer, as well as Greg Olenek, trying to make work of Mike Lepicki as they come out of 4 for 12th place.
We might have some touching back there, yeah.
I was going to say that that looked like a little danger zone action right there. 2 cars squeezing one another off the corner, but hey, they worked it out. They're on their way, and that's going to be the drivers of, Troy Techmeyer and Brad Williams. So we're having awesome battles all throughout the field, Sean, which is awesome to see, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, all these battles are great back here towards the back of the pack. Of course, the front has kind of made its way away from everybody. Oh, it looked like Zach Taylor just kind of wiggled a little bit there and just let his teammate go by very quickly.
Yeah, it was almost a scary sight if you're a Hammer Down Motorsports fan there. Two of your drivers almost collect themselves a little bit there, but it kind of just seemed like they were letting one another go and almost, made contact with each other. But Zimmerman marching his way through the field. Good to see.
And we're right back here with Greg Olenek once again working on Mike Lepicki.
He definitely is. It can get to a point where it's a little bit frustrating if you're Greg Olenek. You've been behind, the driver in front of you for a few laps. You're starting to get antsy, trying to make him pass. You can see a little contact maybe to get by. Not saying there's, any bad blood behind these two, but when you're in the heat of the moment and you've caught a guy and you can't get around him, you start to do little things like that to get by him. So, but hey, our hard charger, Sean Jovi, continuing to move through the field here. Trying to get that third spot.
He has caught third place Christopher Heller. He is definitely on the move right now. Jovi showing out, and I know there's a lot of people out there in the chat watching Jovi. He always has some fans that are out there in the chat. I'll tell you, I've been kind of watching the chat lately. There is an interesting conversation out there about fans like picking one fan to actually drive in the All-Star race, that sort of thing. So really a fun conversation. So if you jump on YouTube a little bit later, you can look at that conversation and just laugh a little bit.
Oh, no doubt. It's awesome to see. Obviously, our fans are interacting with our broadcast. They're having fun with it. They want to be involved. They like what they're seeing on the track, So it's awesome to see. Got to love our fans and followers here of Speed Racing Network.
Yeah, Christopher Heller just kind of came alive a little bit, and he said that he didn't want Jovi to pass him, so he just took off back a little ways. Again, Danny Setzer just right up there close to the wall, having a little bit of trouble out there. One of our league admins for the Truck League, actually, and so he races here in the Xfinity League, and he says that he enjoys these types of races, that it's not regular season stuff, because he can race side by side with a lot of people and find out what they're all about.
Yep, no doubt. You get to be a little bit more aggressive and just have fun with it. There's nothing on the line besides, we see one of our leaders coming down pit lane, Daniel Ballard. I'm sure he's a happy man to be, making a green flag pit stop. Get some 4 fresh tires on there. Hopefully no damage on that car from spinning through the infield.
Definitely a lot of guys coming down. Actually, about 4 or 5 guys coming down. So Daniel Butler, Curtis Young, Danny Setzer, Daniel Keith, Wayne Rayburn, all coming down into the pits.
Yellow is out, Sean. And that is going to trap Daniel Ballard a lap down.
Not really sure what the yellow was.
Me either, but this is going to be an interesting story to see where Ballard and our driver, the number 12, Wayne Rayburn, line up together. As I believe it should put Ballard a lap down, because you saw Marshall Stanley come by as Ballard was still sitting in his pit stall getting service done on his car. So this could be interesting, Well,
we're going to try to find this wreck. I'm not really sure where it came from, so we're going to find it here. But something happened that brought out that yellow.
Did you see the 42 of Kevin Winker?
Yeah,
I'm sure that was it.
I don't. Oh, there it was. Setzer.
Oh. Is that Dean Brummett, Sean?
So last night, this happened with Dean Brummett, where he just came in a little bit too hot into the pits and spun around. And Setzer, same thing here, just trying to get slowed down and just
ever so slightly.
Oh, huge hit on the wall. He's backwards, and so he tries to get turned around and ends up back on the track. And so that's what brought out the caution.
It really was. Just want to point out the 12 car, Wayne Rayburn. Good avoidance there of that. Obviously that's your teammate, but you just never know what way the car is going to come around. You don't want to come out of the pit lane and get yourself a black flag. So good avoidance there by the 12.
So let's take a look, because as he's coming down towards pit road.
From the look of it, Sean, he's coming in way too hot. He realizes it and just kind of locks him up, bringing the rear end around.
And this isn't the most difficult pit road, but it still is hard. Anytime you go into pit road, I mean, you're going from 180 miles an hour down to 50, and it's tough to do.
Absolutely, it is. Especially they're coming to an end of a full fuel run, so they've got worn tires, everything like that. It's a lot easier to come down on fresh tires than it is on 30, 40 lap old tires. As you saw what happened with Danny Setzer there, unfortunately, did a loop, came back, spun around, and got himself, or the yellow came out. So, and it looks like Daniel Bowler should get the wave around. So if you're a Daniel Bowler fan, you're cheering about that because he's not going to get himself trapped a lap down from coming in too early and pitting.
Well, and he's kind of lucky that this didn't happen 4 laps later, because if it had happened 4 laps later, then he would be stuck with much older tires. Not much older, but still 4 or 5 laps. That's a big difference in tires. So he'd have older tires while all these other guys got brand new tires and came out in front of him.
Yes, exactly. 4 or 5 laps might not seem a lot, but when you're going full speed, trying to dig in for everything you got, it's a big difference when those leaders are able to come down pit lane, get 4 fresh tires, and they go back green flag racing. You're going to be a little bit slower on pace. So he definitely did have the lucky horseshoe, so to speak, in his car, and saved himself from possibly making it harder on himself to get back up to the front.
And it doesn't look like Daniel Bowler's pit time was any worse than anybody else's. So if he did repair damage, he likely used a fast repair to do so.
Well, that's good to see. Obviously, you don't want anything, minuscule like sliding on your own through the grass, causing too much damage to the car and have to burn up a fast repair. So that's good to see for the 6th car. I'm sure he'll get the wave around here once it's 1 to green. And that's what happens right there, as you see all of these cars that were in front of the leaders being able to go around, catch back up, and get themselves back on the lead lap. But that's going to return the lead to Marshall Stanley in the 25 car with Christopher Heller actually coming out of pits in front of Mark Brown for 2nd place. So it's going to be quite the sight to see. I think Jovi, now that he's in 4th place, going to continue that charge into the front. That's something to watch to see what he can do now that he's, obviously right behind our leader.
Yeah, he seemed to be better on the front part of the run, and so this might be his opportunity to jump out front and have a shot at this. Another really hard charger out there, Josh Marcy. We haven't even talked about him all night long, but from H2K Motorsports, he's up 11 positions from where he started. So just as hard, actually 12 positions, 12 positions from where he started. So he's charging just as hard as his teammate Jovi.
And that's 3 drivers for H2K Motorsports in the top 7 with Josh Marcy, Ryan DeCum, and Jovi. So, you love to see that. Obviously, heading into the regular season next week, if you got 3 of your drivers out here tonight, and they're all in the top 7 out of 21 drivers. So they're ready to go for this season.
Definitely they are. And so the pace car will dive off. And Marshall Stanley will get us restarted as he takes off. A little bit of a wiggle there on the inside, but he gets it under control and takes off.
And he's crossed the line. He's going to try to pull away from these guys, but I think that's just going to be hard to do. He's got fast cars all behind him. Christopher Heller, first one in his tracks, hunting them down for that lead. They all want to get out front. I think clean air is king here, as well as any other mile-and-a-half track. So it's going to be tough to pass Marshall Stanley, though, as we see Daniel Bowler there going around the 42 car. Ooh, we got a wreck, I believe, in 3 and 4.
Yeah, we got something going on, and I believe that might be Williams. Brad Williams spun around right there in front of the pit road. We do get the yellow.
And I just want to say, my pick, Daniel Bowler, is going to be able to come down pit lane and get tires. So, he's definitely got a smile underneath that helmet right now. So he'll be on a level playing field with the rest of the field. Looks like Brad Williams has a little bit of damage on that right front, but we're going to see that here on the rec replay brought to you by NexDiag.
Oh, this actually started with Eric Koch. And so if you keep an eye on Eric Koch here going into this turn.
See that green and yellow machine going into 3 and 4.
He just loses it.
Yep, unfortunately, just got a little loose. on the high side there. And unfortunately for Brad Williams, got collected in, nothing none of these drivers, meant to do, obviously. That's just one of those things. You got to be cautious on, fresh tires. You see it all the time on Sunday in NASCAR or other, iRacing races. It's just tough.
Watch this from Greg Olenick's point of view. He gets this thing woed up in a hurry.
Awesome job right there, Greg Olenick. Great wreck avoidance. Had to slam on the brakes, got it woed up, like you said. No damage, didn't get run over from behind, so he'll be good to go on this next restart.
Says, whoa, nope, not going to hit you.
And you saw Mike Lepicki, too, of Hammer Down Motorsports sneak around the outside of the spinning car of Brad Williams. So another driver avoiding the wreck. Good talent here. Obviously, not getting caught up in that.
Yeah.
We see the
Olenick's going to come on down. There, he's not losing anything by coming down into the pits right now.
Nope, not at all. Why not? You're not up front in the lead or anything like that, so you're not losing anything, really.
Interesting that Daniel Baldler's not coming down.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Well, yeah, you're right, Sean, because, yeah, he did pit, and then the yellow came out, but why not? I mean, you're only going to lose a few spots, and 3 or 4 laps on fresher tires, if this thing goes on a long green flag run again, could pay off. Obviously, like we saw, after Baldler spun out of 4, he was starting to fall back a little bit, so why not kind of get a little bit of an advantage on these guys in front of you, have fresher tires, and it could work out for you. But nonetheless, Daniel Baldler stays out. We got Marshall Stanley still out front leading this thing.
Yeah, alongside Christopher Heller, Mark Brown, and Jovi. So same top 4 that we had right before the caution began to begin with. Now, going back to 5th, Zach Taylor has worked his way back into his starting position, which was 5th place. And so be on the lookout for him as well because, like I said, he has that take no prisoners attitude that really does well, especially on the short runs.
Right. Play on the words of their team. He's hammered down 100%. We saw him kind of the same type of thing as Daniel Baldler, got loose out of 4. So he's ready to get back up front where he was. Bo Tiffany, another great drive by him here for Team SRN, running in 8th place in that 13 machine. And right behind him, I believe that's Devin Zimmerman of Hammer Down. So, and then again, another Hammer Down vehicle behind him, Mike Lepicki. So it seems like these guys are kind of running in groups with their teams, so to speak. So it's going to be good. Laps are starting to wind down. They all know what's at stake. Sponsorship for the first 5 races of the season. I mean, that's huge, Sean.
Definitely, and I'm keyed in here on Devin Zimmerman. He does drive the JDRF car. His son that has diabetes, he is raising awareness for diabetes and diabetes research. So we appreciate JDRF for sponsoring Devin Zimmerman. We appreciate Devin himself for going for such a noble cause, as well as he is actually active duty Air Force as well. So while he's serving our country, he's also raising money to help his son.
Amazing thing to see, obviously, what he's doing for himself, with his son, getting support for diabetes. That's awesome to see. And obviously, he's in the military for the Air Force. Awesome guy, on and off the track. So nothing but good things to say about Devin Zimmerman. Oh, as he blinks out,
he blinks out, yeah, he got shy. He got shy.
He knew we were talking about him. He could feel it.
Looking back through the pack here, I'm trying to find anybody that we haven't really keyed in on at this point. So I'll tell you, Wayne Rayburn, who really struggled there at the very beginning, had to come in. He was 2 laps down. He is back on the lead lap now. So really great news for Wayne Rayburn. He now has a shot at this thing.
He definitely does, and he's running the Amazon Prime car. So hopefully he gets same-day shipping, and he'll find himself up front in the lead.
Yeah, pretty much the only shippers out there that actually had same-day shipping during the holidays, so everyone else was behind.
Sounds like you had a bad experience, Sean. I know that must be tough.
I don't want to discuss it.
No need to then. We'll just lock back in on the race. We'll see our leaders as they come out of 2. The lights are off the pace car, so that means they're coming to the green flag. It'll be interesting what happens. You got some guys that had a little misfortunate events early on, getting themselves back in position here. And obviously, they all see it. The laps are winding down of the Sparkle and Shine 165 at Texas Motor Speedway. So the lights might not be on the track, but the lights in the show are definitely about to heat up here.
As we're going to come off of turns 3 and 4, the pace car is going to dive off. Marshall Stanley is going to get the restart, but look out right behind him, his teammate Mark Brown. I think he might get a good push.
Oh yeah, if they're doing it right, they're going to time this correct. They're going to clear themselves with second place Chris Heller, and they're going to go into 1. And it seems like they did it. They timed it correct. They're going to go across the line, trying to get second place clear to Chris Heller. I don't think it's going to work, though. They're going to go side by side behind Marshall Stanley into 1.
Yeah, Mark tried to get it down there to the bottom side. When he did that, he lost a little bit of speed as Christopher Heller takes that position on the outside.
Oh, and you see, I believe that was Jovi making the inside move on Mark Brown, and it is. So he's going to move himself up to 3rd, trying to bring his teammate along, and Ryan DeCombe, H2K, is ready to go here at Texas. So I think we're going to see that 3 car get up and try to battle for that lead.
I can hear Joseph DuPont smiling already.
Oh, you know he is. I mean, Joseph, loves to race, loves to see his team up front. So he's watching right now, I would hope, and he's loving what he's seeing.
Somebody loving it even more, Adam Pettit, is loving watching his team with Marshall Stanley and Mark Brown doing so well in this race.
He definitely is. Marshall Stanley, great driver, ton of experience on multiple different platforms of cars, so not surprised at all to see Marshall Stanley leading our field still. But Chris Heller, closing in ever so slightly here on Marshall. We really haven't seen ever since Marshall took over the lead, any kind of real threat from anyone passing them. So Marshall's just kind of been in command of this thing as they go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and I will tell you, so Danny Setzer has gone back into the pits once again. He must have a lot of damage going on back there, but those laps are ticking away, and he is falling further and further behind.
Yeah, it's a tough night for the 17 machine. Thankfully it is, just a preseason event. It's not going to hurt them in the points or anything like that, but, obviously that's not what you like to see from any of these competitors having troubles, so tough to see for Setzer, but, here we go. Marshall Stanley still leading by almost half a second here on these guys in 2nd and 3rd.
Race is starting to heat up back here towards the back as Daniel Baldler starts to make his way back up through the pack, trying to get that lead back.
He is, and he's bringing his teammate with him, and Curtis Young, as they're trying to fight through this field, which is going to be tough, making your way through the field, but also on, the equipment on the tires and things like that. So you just got to be patient, take your time, one at a time. Don't try anything too crazy to get yourself in a bad position. But they both clear the car of Bo Tiffany. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's the
Josh Marcy.
Marcy. The 35 of Josh Marcy. So they're making their way up. They're in 8th and 9th. So it's something to keep our eyes on here.
And working our way back up towards the front, looks like we might have a little bit of racing. We had a little bit of racing, so Mark Brown has moved into the 6th position. Looks like Ryan DuCombe has taken that 5th position away. But watch out for Bo Tiffany as he is on the move trying to track down Mark Brown.
Oh, yeah, all these drivers are, they realize that it's go time. They got to get there. They're trying to get by these guys, and, it's tough racing. It seems like guys will get behind someone, and then you really just got to wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake, and then, you get around them as you see Bowler do that with Bo Tiffany in the 13 machine. Going to clear him off of 4. Going to move him up to 7th spot as we get lap 70 of 110 laps.
Keep an eye on Curtis Young here because he is just following. He's just following Baldler right up through it.
He really is. It's kind of like following a snowplow on the highway or a road. They clear the path and you just follow them and you got no issues at all. So Curtis Young's just trying to follow his teammate, although Bo Tiffany got back to the inside in front of Curtis Young, so it's going to break that party up for R&D Motorsports. Bowler's kind of pulling away from those two, setting his sights on Mark Brown for 6th place. But up front, we still got Marshall Stanley leading this thing by over half a second, although Jovi Sagaped is really closing in here on Chris Heller. So the battle for 2nd place will definitely start to heat up.
always good to see a great battle, but man, it is going to heat up really, really quickly. As Saggyped is starting to track him down, and like I said, he's been the hard charger all night long. He's been up 15 positions already.
He really has. You know, it's pretty impressive to see. You know, starting 18th and he's up to 3rd, and he wants more. 3rd's not good enough for him. You know, he's trying to win it. So right now, though, these two guys are actually a 10th of a lap or a 10th of a second each lap quicker than our leader. So I think they're going to start reeling in Marshall Stanley as you see Zachary Taylor under attack by Ryan DeCombs for 4th place. So we got battles all over. Good hard racing here as we're still green flag racing.
And it looks like DeCombs going to get a nose in there. And so he's going to try to take off down the backstretch, try to clear Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's not going to let up, though.
No, he's not. He's going to pinch him a little bit as they go into 3, trying to not let Ryan DeCombs come off that white line, and he just had to bail out of it on the outside. Zachary Taylor had a lift. I'm sure he was starting to get tight. Didn't want to tear the wall down out of 4, and Ryan DeCombs gets himself a little breathing room as he moves up into 4th spot.
Daniel Bodler follows Ryan DeCombs through, so does Mark Brown. And so Zachary Taylor moves all the way back to the 7th position on that exchange. And now Daniel Bodler working his way even further up through the pack, moving almost to the top 5.
He definitely has. And when we were talking about that battle there between Bodler and Mark Brown over the radio, the race chat, the 10 car, along with Jovi, got into a little bit of, got into one another, and it actually gave Jovi a little right front damage. So I think that's why you see Ryan DeCombs starting to pull up closer to Jovi. That damage is going to hurt him.
Yeah, you can see that damage there on Jovi's vehicle, but you can also see some damage to the number 10 of Christopher Heller in front of him.
Yep, and right now, you know, it's like having a parachute out the back of your car. Unfortunately, it's not going to make it any easier on these guys. They see Ryan DeCombs go to the inside of his teammate to take over 4th place, or 3rd place, sorry, making his sights clear for the 10 car of Christopher Heller for 2nd place. So, yeah, this damage is obviously affecting, you know, a couple guys up front. As you see, Ryan trying to get 2 for 1 in one lap here, moving up to 2nd place, does it with ease.
Yeah, you can see the difference between a clean car and a car with a little bit of damage. It is extremely hard to keep that damaged car going quickly.
It really is, and you know, there's just nothing you can do about it until there's a yellow and you can get it fixed, which is just really, really annoying as a driver, because you were running 2nd and 3rd for these two guys, and now you're falling back. You're under attack for Christopher Heller. He's got Mark Brown looking to his inside, bringing Daniel Bowler with them as they go through turns 3 and 4. So that 10 car, I think, has got it worse than the 3 of Jovi. He's fallen back quite a bit now, so he's really, really just wishing for a yellow flag.
Not sure he's going to get his wish. This has been a relatively clean race. Let's go back a little ways. Bo Tiffany trying to get to the inside of Christopher Heller now.
Yeah, he is. 13 cars coming to life a little bit, moving through the field. Had some smoke there. Not sure if someone just blinked or what, but we're still green under Bo Tiffany. Man, they get so close. It kind of makes you pause your thought because you think you're going to see a wreck.
Curtis Young follows the Bo Tiffany right through, and so Curtis is going to move up into the 8th position. So, man, just great racing all over the place. Daniel Bodler under fire right now from Zach Taylor.
Yeah, these are two guys that just hard charge from the get-go. So this is going to be a good battle here. Zachary Taylor is going to go to the inside of Daniel Bowler. Oh, Bowler kind of shuts the door on him. You know, Zach's not going to like that. He's going to, you know, have that in his mind. Hey, you shot my nose into 3, so looking to see what happens as they go down the front stretch, going into turn 1. Battle for 4th place is pretty tight right now.
Well, Zach Taylor got all the way down to that line, and once those tires touch that line, your car gets a little bit out of shape, and I think that's why he had to back out of it a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely did, and it's good to see him recover from what we saw about 10 laps ago when he had to really bail out of it because it seemed like he was going to hit the wall. But nonetheless, we go back up front, and we got Marshall Stanley, who's opened up over almost a 2-second lead on Ryan DeCombs. So Marshall Stanley in complete control. If this thing stays green, it's going to be hard to catch that 25 car.
Well, we do have green flag pit stops. There's no way that they can make it all the way to the end from where they pitted, and so we will at least have one more stop. So that might throw a little monkey wrench into it.
It definitely could. Hey, we saw Danny Setzer spin out and bring out a yellow, so that could really, completely change the outlook of this race. So you just never know. You miss your box, anything like that, it could ruin your night.
So taking a look up a little bit further here. So Daniel Bodler once again under fire from Zach Taylor, but he is also pulling in Jovi.
He definitely has. All these cars are right here. They're lined up nose to tail almost. So Daniel Bodler's going to be the first one to make a move on Jovi Sagaped. As you see the 6 car kind of clip that white line like you were just speaking about, kind of washed them up a little bit, going to ruin the run down the front. But Bowler's trying to get to third, trying to get closer to the lead in case anything happens with a yellow or anything like that to give his chances, or get his chances back of winning this thing.
Got a little bit of racing back here towards the back. Christopher Heller still in this thing, and so he's passing Greg Olenek.
Yeah, he really is still in this race, by any means. If there is a yellow, he's going to be able to get a faster pair. Obviously, that car is damaged and it's hurting him. But, he gets that faster pair done and there's a yellow flag. He's right back in this. So don't count him out just yet. And the battle for third heats up.
Yep, Jovi is under fire by Daniel Bodler, who led some of this race a little bit earlier and then really did himself some damage going down into the infield and going airborne.
It definitely didn't help his cause, but you see Bowler get to the inside of the 3 car and Zachary Taylor's going to peek his nose and he's going to get him as they come across the line with 26 laps to go. So Bowler up to 3rd, Zachary Taylor up to 4th, and Jovi's now falling back to 5th. And again, under attack.
Jovi in the wall.
Oh, hard hit. Oh, and the 10 car almost just smokes the rear end of Jovi. Not really sure how that happened, but we'll see it in our next Diag rec replay.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else involved in this. I mean, we'll definitely get an idea of what happened here very shortly. But Jovi just a little bit high up on the track, and oh my goodness, he just loses it. Not really sure. I mean, it's almost like his wheels just took a direct left turn. Could that be a wheel issue?
It kind of looked like it, because if you don't mind backing it up again, you kind of saw the exhaust pipes throw a little flame out on the right side as they went into 1.
Wow, yeah, that's definitely a glitch. That was definitely a glitch.
Really unfortunate for Jovi there. Obviously his wheel, I'm assuming, disconnected or turned off or whatever happened there, because he's now obviously had to tow back to the pits because he's sitting in his pit stall.
Oh, very unfortunate.
Really hard break for the 3 car of Jovi. Obviously you don't want to see that to any of these competitors out here. That's completely out of their control, unfortunately, with technology. You just never know. But tough break for Jovi. But we got pit stops for our leaders here.
Yeah, the toughest break for that, I believe, was Marshall Stanley, because he was just pulling away, and now he is going to have to contend. And let's see who can get out of their pits first. And it's going to be Marshall Stanley, but right behind Daniel Bodler picks up another spot, and so he is going to be able to battle with Marshall Stanley. Now, another car that has not pitted is Kevin Winker, and he's going to have to pit here soon, because we're talking 30 laps already on those tires. I don't think he can stretch this the rest of the way.
No, I couldn't imagine he can. You take fuel out of it as well. I mean, those tires, he's just going to be really, really slow compared to all of these guys that just came down pit lane for tires. So not sure, maybe he wanted to lead a lap or something. I mean, you saw this last night. He did the same thing and stayed out when the majority of the field pitted. But we'll see what happens as they're coming through 3 and 4 right now. So we'll see if he dives down. If not, it's going to be
there he goes.
There we go. So he is going to come down and get his 4 tires and fuel.
Not really sure.
So that'll give Marshall Stanley the lead back.
Yeah, not really sure what the strategy there was to wait that extra lap. You've got plenty of fuel with 24 laps to go. I'm just not really sure what the strategy was. Maybe he just missed his pit. I'm not really sure.
True. That could have happened. Missed his box, or was trying to catch up to the field and didn't realize it was open to pit or something like that. So, but he obviously went down pit lane that time by. Marshall Stanley, though, unfortunately, he's going to lose that almost 2-second lead. And now he's got two guys that we've been talking about all night. They go all out every lap with Daniel Bowdler and Zachary Taylor right behind him. So Marshall Stanley is going to be in a situation where he's going to have guys really going for it right now.
Yeah, well, I know he got a really good lead this past stint out there, and I just don't think that Daniel Bowdler is going to let him get a 2-second lead on him. But, we could be wrong. Marshall Stanley could just be that much better than everybody else out here. He has definitely proven that he's good.
He really could. It could just be, obviously, just being able to pull away and put down fast laps, lap after lap. But these two guys are going to give him a run for his money for that sponsorship by Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing and NexDiag. So we're going to have ourselves a good little 21, 22 lap shootout.
Yeah, once again, for those that don't know, we do have a sponsorship on the line tonight. So tonight's winner is going to get a 5-week sponsorship into the regular season. And I mean yes, it's $50 is what you're talking about as far as the buy-ins are concerned, that sort of thing. But to be able to drive without risk just really, really helps your driving, and you don't have to be as concerned about what you're doing on the track, and so you can take a little bit more risk. You can take more chances because you don't have any money involved in it.
You hit the nail on the head, Sean. Obviously, you win tonight. You get 5 weeks paid for from our sponsorship here with these two great companies, and then you're racing for free, so to speak. And then you keep, if in those 5 races you win money from our weekly payouts. You could essentially not even have to pay for a single entry if you're in the money spots for those first 5 weeks. So a lot really is on the line here.
And they all know it too. And so the pressure is on for this race. But yeah, if you win that sponsorship, it takes a lot of pressure off of you. And pressure is something that people handle a little bit differently, just depending on who you are. Some people like it, some people don't. Oh, and we're out there in chat world right now. Jovi is out there in the chat, and he says, "My son unplugged my wheel."
Oh my goodness! Unfortunate, heartbreak for Jovi right there. Obviously not meaning to, and it's just going to ruin his night. But
I mean, I'll tell you that Jovi actually raced with his son on his lap one week, so it's okay, man. It happens.
It definitely does. But right now we got our leader, Marshall Stanley. Heck of a jump. Zachary Taylor is going to clear second place Daniel Bowdler as they go into turn 1 here with 21 laps to go. We're really going to see what these guys got for Marshall Stanley on the short run. And here comes Zachary Taylor with a good run through 1 and 2, closing in on the 25 car. Like we were saying, the pressure is definitely on Marshall Stanley. In a little bit of a spot he hasn't been in all race.
Yeah, he hasn't really had too much competition up towards. Oh, we got Rex. Big
wreck in the back of the field.
And that's Devin Zimmerman involved. That's the number 42 of Kevin Winker involved. Let's see. I believe Curtis Young was involved. Yep. So lots of wrecks going on. Let's go back and find out if we can sort it all out, because it happened really, really fast.
It really did. And we're going to see right here. NexDiag rec replay.
So Curtis Young and Devin Zimmerman racing nose to tail.
They go into 3. He's going to be pushing Devin Zimmerman into the corner.
And just taps him just enough.
And you saw Zimmerman try to save it, and then he just, in the process, lost control of it and went into to the right to the outside wall, and Curtis Young was there. So it took hard hits for both of those guys. Not sure what their fast repair situation is. If they can fix their cars and continue on or not. So we'll see what happens here as this yellow flag, filters its way through. Big hard hit. Ooh, not sure who that white and green car is.
Stan Houseman involved. Yep, Stan Houseman involved for Team SRN as well. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. Just kind of wrong place, wrong time. The 39 machine.
We'll see this from Stan's point of view here. Oh.
Almost gets through and gets hit on both sides of the car. I mean, I don't think we've seen Stan in any of these previous wrecks, so I'm assuming he's got a fast repair left in the bank. So he'll come down pit lane, I'm sure, and fix his car up.
And I believe that's the number 35 of Josh Marcy that gets lucky, gets through. Ryan Ducom almost gets hit there as well, but sneaks through it.
Yeah, they definitely did. It was actually kind of impressive. Only one additional car from those two guys spinning got any other damage from it. Everyone else kind of slithered their way through it unscathed from the wreck. So it's good to see. You know, it didn't take out too many competitors or anything like that. But Marshall Stanley still out there leading this thing for Rev Racing in the number 25 UAW Delphi car.
And Daniel Baldler, he has gone back to third position. And so he's going to have to find something quickly, but now maybe that he's on the inside right behind Marshall Stanley, he might get a good run.
Yeah, I think you're going to see what happened with Zachary Taylor there. Get a good launch off the restart, you know, clear him and be right behind Marshall as they go through 1 and 2 and down the back. So definitely going to be seeing what Baldler's got here for Marshall Stanley on this restart.
And looking, so all the guys that were involved in the wreck are all in the pits. A few of them have some massive repairs that have to be done. So we'll keep an eye on that. It looks like Kevin Winker is going to be able to drive back out of the pits in front of the pace car here. So he may stay on the lead lap. We're keeping an eye on Devin Zimmerman. It looks like he's been in there for a couple of minutes already. He might have too much damage to get back out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, he might have, you know, had to tow back to the pits too if the engine went. I mean, you know, so even if you do have a fast repair, but you got to tow, you got to wait for that, you know, time iRacing gives you for the tow, which kind of, unfortunately, is going to take you out of this thing with so few laps left. You know, same with Curtis Young in the 94. So 2 of our quicker drivers find themselves out of this thing with 18 laps to go.
So we got Marshall Stanley from Rev Racing. Let's take a look at where his teammates are. We got Mark Brown back here in 4th position. Greg Olenek back here in 13th, but still running. So that's really all it takes right now is just keep that thing running. Then going back up front, you got Zachary Taylor from Hammerdown Motorsports. His teammate Mike Lepicki back here in 15th position on the lead lap, and then Devin Zimmerman is still in the pits. Then going back up. Oh, go ahead.
And then we got, obviously, Daniel Baldler in the 6 of R&D Motorsports with his teammates back here in, well, I guess it is only Curtis Young in the 94, Bo Tiffany in the 13. So a lot of guys kind of scattered through this field as earlier in the race we kind of saw the teams kind of running together almost. But with 17 laps to go with the pace car coming off this time, things are going to heat up. It's going to get spicy.
Definitely. Let's see if we can keep this thing green for those 17 laps, but my gut is telling me that they're going to be racing so hard that it is not going to be clean the rest of the way.
Yeah, you know, we just saw it on a restart. That's what happens. Cautions breed cautions. So it's going to be hard to keep this thing green. You know, if we do, I really think that kind of goes to the advantage of Marshall Stanley, who we've seen kind of walk away from the field the longer they go green. So these guys right behind them are really going to give them all it's worth here as they coming through 3 and 4 for the green flag.
And honestly, this is what you're looking at if you're a sponsor. You want to find the guy that can do it on the short run, because a lot of these races come down to these last 15, 20 laps, and sometimes even some green-white checkers.
They definitely do, but Marshall Stanley is going to get hard on the gas pedal and pull away. He's going to get a good advantage on these 2 behind him as they're going to go side by side into the corner. Marshall Stanley going to try to get away as fast as possible, but Daniel Baldler is not going to let that happen, you know, without a fight. So he's going to try and keep Zachary Taylor behind him, though, as they're coming down the backstretch. They're going to be side by side into 3. See what these 2, if they want to kind of say, all right, we got to team up, so to speak, to be able to get to them instead of battling for second.
I was going to say, the more they battle side by side, the happier Marshall Stanley's going to be because he's just running away with it.
Right, and that's the thing. Second place isn't getting paid the sponsorship or anything like that, so you got to know that and say, all right, enough's enough. Let's go get it. And Marshall Stanley, though, is still got a good lead here as they go into 3. Although Bowdler's starting to pull him in a little bit, it seems. This is kind of where we've seen Bowdler shine, is on the shorter runs. So, you know, not saying Marshall doesn't have that short run speed, but Bowdler's been a little quicker as they come down into 1 with 14 to go.
And yeah, Marshall has not been able to break away nearly as much as he has in the previous stints already. So maybe we'll see a good finish here towards the end. But now he starts to break away a little bit more.
He definitely is. I think he's just probably trying to maintain it, you know, not use his stuff up or run him.
Ryan Ducombe.
Ryan Ducombe going through the grass. We'll see if this brings out a yellow. Looks like he's going to keep it straight. He does, so no yellow flag. The only thing that got hit with the cones.
I'll be interested to see if he gets penalized for hitting those cones. But we will find that out shortly. Marshall Stanley still leads this race by about a quarter of a second.
He definitely does. You know, he's got Bowdler right on his tail, so the laps are coming down. We'll see if Bowdler can get to his bumper, and then it's, you know, what does he do with it? You know, if you're Bowdler, you're sitting in the seat of that 6 car. You've seen Marshall lead this thing for a majority of the race. You know, you don't want to finish second to him. We'll see how aggressive Bowdler gets with it. You know, I'm not saying he's going to wreck him, but, you know, you never know, especially with something like a sponsorship on the line for these guys. So this battle is going to heat up, and the battle for third place of Zachary Taylor and Mark Brown is just as close as it is for the lead.
Going back just a little ways, Christopher Heller really trying to track down the number 18 of Troy Techmeyer, trying to work his way back up to the front. He was up front there for a long time, and then got into some damage with Jovi. Now he's just trying to come back.
And it looks like he did not have a faster pair left in the, left to use. As you can still see that rear end damage, which I'm assuming is from that earlier incident with him and Jovi. But back up front, Daniel Bowdler's got it, under 0.2 of a second. He's right there almost on Marshall Stanley. They're going to be coming to 9 to go, this time to the flag. As Bowdler blinks out, always a scary sight. Something like what we just saw with Jovi.
Well, and you got to think about this as kind of a football game, too. You don't want to take the lead with too much time left on the clock. So Bowdler doesn't want to pass just yet, just to have Stanley move him, get right back into the game. So I think he's trying to time this.
Like, you're completely right. You don't want to show him your card too soon and then give him the chance to do it right back to you, because then you're not going to be the one out front when they take the checkered flag. But Daniel Bowdler is definitely here. We'll see what he's going to be able to do with it. Marshall Stanley kind of washes up on a corner exit. It's going to give a better run down the front for Bowdler with the draft on top of that. So they come with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, this is where nerves come into play. And Marshall Stanley, great driver. He's won plenty of races. But when you have somebody on your tail with this few laps to go and you're leading the race, there's always nerves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could have all the experience in the world, and, you got a guy who's just as fast as you, obviously, here with Daniel Bowdler. One little mistake, and he's right there, or even passing you on the inside. So these two they're going after it. They definitely really are, and Marshall's kind of running a different line than Bowdler. He kind of enters a little bit higher than Bowdler. Seems to be working off because he's kind of stalled Daniel where he's at.
But he does seem to be washing up the track a little bit on exit. So if Daniel can just take advantage of that, then we might get some side-by-side racing.
We really could. It's getting to that point in the run where Marshall all night has kind of started to pull away from him. But Bowdler's still right here with them, on his rear bumper with 6 laps to go. As Zachary Taylor has taken over third place from Mark Brown. So, if there is another yellow, these 3 are lined up like they were for the last 2 restarts.
And you just never know. I mean, 6 laps to go, and Zach just needs to stay in it right now. But right now he's behind by almost a second behind Bowdler. So this could be just a 2-car race.
It really could, or these two get into each other. That could really slow them up and bring these guys in 3rd and 4th place into the race. But you saw Daniel Bowdler get up to the rear bumper of Marshall Stanley, which kind of, oh man, they're really, really racing hard here for the lead. Oh, that camera angle made me think Marshall was going to go around, but Bowdler's going to take over the lead out of 4, coming to 4 laps to go. We'll see if Marshall can do anything with it and get back around him. But right now, Bowdler's out in front, kind of pulled away a little bit. But Marshall Stanley, he's not going to give up too easy on this thing.
Yeah, he's trying to pull away, but Marshall's trying to keep it within that 0.3 of a second, which is typically the draft here. So if he can just stay within that time, and he's doing a good job of it, he's right there at 1/4 of a second, then he's going to have a shot here with 4 laps to go. Oh, no, he got to the wall.
Marshall Stanley, you pointed it out, Sean. He was getting a little higher on the track out on corner exit, and unfortunately, he got into the outside wall. That's really going to probably hurt his car, especially with 3 laps to go. And Bowdler's starting to creep away from all these guys. But Zachary Taylor and Mark Brown here are catching up to Marshall Stanley. So the battle for second could heat up, which is only going to make it better for Daniel Bowdler, who's going to come across the line with 2 laps to go in this thing.
Oh, and we've seen Daniel Bowdler just spin the car. So this thing is definitely not over until the last turn.
It really is, and Zachary Taylor really sent it to the inside of Marshall Stanley for second. They're door-to-door off of 2. As they come down the backstretch, only going to give Daniel Bowdler a bigger lead as they go into 3. If you're Bowdler, you're crossing your fingers. You get to that line for the white flag before yellow comes out. But right now, Daniel Bowdler leading this thing. He's going to get the white flag. So right now, whatever happens, happens. But Bowdler's going to take it into 1. If I'm him, I'm taking it a little bit easy. You just saw Marshall Stanley a couple laps ago come up, slap the outside wall. You don't want that to happen. You got this thing really. As they come down the back.
And Daniel Bowdler will come around 3 and 4.
He will. He's going to bring it home out of 4. Daniel Bowdler is going to cross the line, the leader, and win the Sparkle and Shine 165 at Texas.
And win that 5-race sponsorship, which is such a prize. And we sincerely appreciate Sparkle and Shine and NexDiag for putting that sponsorship out there. I think you guys got a great driver.
Oh, I mean, no doubt. Bowdler was in the Championship 5 last year in the Xfinity Series for Mid-South Madness. So, he knows what he's doing to get himself in the position to win a race as well as win the whole thing. So Daniel Bowdler going to show us a little show right here in Texas.
And he is going to take the spin of victory and do those donuts here at Texas, where everything is bigger, including that win.
Oh, I mean, especially for a guy like himself, he just spun himself out while leading the thing way earlier in the race and fought his way through the field. And here he is in victory lane, burning it down.
What a great sight for him. What a great feeling for him, more than likely. We will we'll get him into the booth here shortly. But let's take a look as he tries everything he can to burn those tires to the ground.
I tell you what, it sure seems like he's
there with
practiced
the engine. The engine blew up. Yeah, the engine blew up on him. But let's take a look at our results here as he tries to inch his way back to the pits. So Daniel Bowdler from R&D Motorsports with the win. Zach Taylor from Hammer Down Motorsports with second place. Mark Brown and Marshall Stanley both from Rev Racing in 3rd and 4th.
In 5th place from H2K Motorsports, Josh Marcy. A heck of a run there. I believe he's going to be our hard charger winner. Started 19th, finished 5th. 6th place, another Rev Racing guy, and Greg Olenek. 7th place, Wayne Rainborn. Good for him. Obviously had that start of the race was a few laps down, so battled his way back up to 7th. And then 8th place from H2K Motorsports, we got Troy Techmeyer. And then 9th place, Christopher Heller from R2D2 Motorsports, or R&D Motorsports, I'm sorry.
Michael Lepicki from Hammer Down Motorsports in 10th. Bo Tiffany from Team SRN in 11th. Stan Hausman from Team SRN and his teammate Daniel Keith Jr. in 12th and 13th from Team SRN as well. Eric Hoke from R&D Motorsports in 14th. Ryan Ducom from H2K in 15th.
In 16th place, we got Kevin Winker from R2D2 Motorsports. 17th, Danny Setzer for Team SRN. And out of Hammer Down Motorsports in 18th, Devin Zimmerman. And then 19th place is Curtis Young from R&D Motorsports. And another H2K Motorsports in 20th is Jovi Sagaped with the unfortunate event of having your wheel unplugged from your son. So great run ended in a split second.
It did end in a split second, but I'm sure as a father, he probably was a little bit upset at first, but I'm sure he gave his son a big hug after doing that. So let's see if we can't get some of these guys up into the booth. Let's start off. Take a look and see if we've got Mark Brown from Rev Racing. And Mark was all the way up front for a lot of this race. Hey, Mark, this is Sean and Jake up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Man, it is really good. You know, your Rev Racing team was pretty well on lock tonight. You got 3 guys in the top 6. Really good run there, but you yourself were up front for most of that race.
Yeah, kind of messed up on one of the restarts, and I got down in the grass, and it kind of messed me up and threw me out of my rhythm. But overall, it was a good race.
Yeah, I mean, if you had anything, any doubts at all coming into this thing, definitely those have been alleviated already. What is it that you saw here at Texas that made you so fast?
Saving tires in the line in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That was the trick.
You definitely did a good job of that, Mark. You know, you were up front most of the race. You know, I don't think I really ever saw you further back than about seventh or eighth place. You know, obviously being up front with your teammate Marshall Stanley leading the thing. You know, were you kind of watching him to, learn a little bit, see where you could pick up on things and possibly go up there and pass him?
Well, that long green flag run we had, I mean, we were cooking around the track, but we were just riding it out. You know, if it come to the end, if I could have passed him, I would. But he's my teammate. You know, let him go.
Fair enough. That's obviously something you always like to hear. You know, I don't want to take both of you guys out, especially when you're teammates. But strong running from you guys at Rev Racing.
Yeah, thank you. I hope to be doing a lot of this season.
Definitely. We'll definitely be talking to you a little bit later this season. I'm pretty sure of it, and the rest of your Rev team as well. So a lot of great drivers there, and we appreciate you being here tonight. And congratulations on 3rd place, and good luck in the future.
Very much. You guys do an awesome job on the broadcast. I always watch it after the race, so good job.
Thanks, Mark. Have a great night.
See you.
All right, let's see if we can't get our Hammer Down Motorsports 2nd place driver, Mr. Zach Taylor, up here in the booth with us. Hey, Zach, this is Sean and Jake up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Yes, sir. Howdy, howdy.
Man, what a great run for you. I know you were up front a lot. You had a lot of good battles there with Daniel Bodler side by side and everything. And then you really came to life there towards the end. What did you see here at Texas that made you so fast?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. Normally, this is my worst track. That's not a triangle, so I guess it just kind of matched my driving style tonight. Setup felt good. I just found my markers, and great teammate Steven Zimmerman, Mike Lepicki was there to kind of help me there in practice. I was about half a second off the pace whenever I first loaded in. So a lot of hard work tonight.
Yeah, you definitely did. You know, had your work cut out for you, especially after that, spin at a 4, kind of put you back in the pack a little bit. Were you worried at some point, with how tough it is to pass guys as well as trying to save tire for a longer run? Did you ever get nervous a little bit that, your shot at winning it or, having a good finish, kind of went out the window a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Especially after I got that speeding penalty. With about 40 laps to go, I said, there ain't no way I'll get back up there. It was so hard to pass tonight. It was one groove. I mean, it was inside both times around the track. If you hit your mark right in 1 and 2 on the long run, you could definitely run the top. Well, I guess it'd be more the middle. You can't run the top. but you could definitely kind of get the middle to work in a way, as I think we saw that coming in towards the end of the race there.
Definitely, and that's kind of something Sean and I were both talking about. It kind of seemed like in order to get around a guy, you just had to be very patient and wait for them to make a mistake and kind of make the move as you come out of the corner onto the straightaways, which we saw a lot from you, moving hard through the field. So, obviously, I haven't raced with you a lot, but definitely going to have good showings and good runnings all season long from you, Zach. Couldn't be more proud. I'm sure you guys back at Hammer Down to showcase your guys' speed tonight.
Yeah, no, we're real proud of all of our guys over there. I gotta give the boys at Rocket Racing a good old shout out. They've really molded me into a much better driver here in the last couple of days since they picked me up. So, just glad to have the guys here to kind of mentor me into a better driver than what I was.
Well, man, great showing tonight. We look forward to seeing what you do the rest of the way. Season starts up, man, in a week and a few days. So get ready, because I think Hammer Down Motorsports has a real shot at this team championship.
That's what we're hoping. We're hoping that we can bring home that championship and, it'd be our first team championship. So let's try to do that.
All right, man. Well, we're going to let you get right back to it. Congratulations on a great run tonight, and we will see you next week at the start at Chicagoland.
Yep. See y'all in Chicago. Thank y'all.
All right.
No problem. Great race, Zach.
Thank you.
All right, and so let's see if we can't get Daniel Bowdler up here. And Daniel, one of the things that I always enjoy talking to Daniel about, he's just so smooth. But I've got an important question for him. Daniel, Sean, and Jake up in the booth. How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good, man. Undefeated at Texas.
Yeah, and so the question that I have for you, I know you were in the session the other night with Kane Cook. Did that help you at all tonight?
I think so. I think that really helped out. I didn't get into a whole lot of things with Kane. We didn't get a lot of one-on-one time with that being a group session, but just some of the tips and tricks that he gives you for sticking to the line and being able to hold the bottom and save those tires a little easier. Really, I was trying to work on that really hard through the race today, and I thought it was helping. Got a little frustrated with myself not being able to save like I wanted, but in the end, man, it worked out.
Oh, it definitely did. Saw yourself spinning off of 4 in the lead. It's kind of the same thing that happened to Zach Taylor. And then obviously during that green flag pit stop, you caught the yellow at the wrong time and things looked a little south. But, are you looking forward to starting the season off at Chicagoland, which, I know you're fast at, from last season?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Chicagoland. We had really good speed there last year. And just didn't quite have that long run speed, but I've been working real hard on that, so I think I got that long run speed figured out, and we can be a lot more competitive there. But yeah, tonight, man, coming off of 4, I'd been looking there for the first good bit of that race, and there's just this patch of grass out there that looked a little tall, and I just thought it needed mowed over, so I thought
fair enough.
Mow it down, and we'd get back up there later.
You must have been watching last night when Dean Brumman and I did the same thing at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
No, I wasn't watching that, but that's kind of funny.
Well, I also see that we have David Duke up here, so your team manager here. David, what are you thinking about your teams here, man?
I couldn't be happier. Excellent run by all teams. R&D, SRN, just great runs. Obviously, we got the win. We got some top 10s. I got to give a shout out to Wayne Rayburn, man. He fell down 2 laps early in the race and battled back to a 7th place finish. That's pretty incredible. But star of the show right here in the booth with us, Daniel Bowdler, like you said, mowing the grass, coming back. And I thought he drove a really smart race the last half of that and really saved his stuff and bought his time. And boy, put a good move on Marshall there going, in 1 and 2 and just kind of rubbing him out of the way a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's really been an incredible race, and obviously R&D has some serious drivers. So does Team SRN, and a lot of these teams do. So I think this season is going to be the most exciting season that we've ever had.
I think you're going to want to keep up with all 3 series that SRN Speed Racing Network has going on this year. I think there's going to be some incredible battles up and down the leaderboard all season. I think it's going to be fantastic.
So I got a question for both of you. You know, obviously the winner of this race got themselves a 5-race sponsorship. So to both of you, you know, first we'll go with Daniel Bowler here. You know, what does it mean to you going into a season? You know, having a sponsor, you know, racing for a company or 2 companies, I guess, with Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing and NexDiag.
Man, you know, to be honest with you, I kind of forgot about that with that race there. I was just trying to focus in on winning that race. I was so driven there to try and stay undefeated at Texas. I hate that place, but I love that place, I guess. But no, that's really cool. Huge opportunity for me there to be able to have those guys on board. Really want to give them a big thank you to give this honor to anyone. I think they're doing this in all 3 series. So
They are.
that is awesome. I mean, to give 3 guys throughout this league to have the chance to run at least 5 races and really better their opportunity going forward. So it'd be really cool to run those sponsors on the car.
Definitely, and I mean, I know they're excited to have you, and we were just saying, I mean, they really got a great driver out of that deal, and so we will have to see what everything looks like next week as we get this party started at Chicagoland next Thursday. So we're 10 days away. This is going to be a great season, guys.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely. I'm excited.
Yeah, and thank you, Sparkle and Shine. Thanks for putting some faith into our league, and we're R&D is going to represent you the best we can, and hopefully we have another R&D truck in there too with a Sparkle and Shine. Thank you for showing some faith in the league. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, you guys both have a great evening. Congratulations on a great run, and we will see you guys in 10 days at Chicagoland.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Good race, Daniel.
All right, so we will drop them back down in there. So Jake, I mean, saw a lot of great racing tonight, a lot of good side-by-side racing. Hopefully we see the same thing next week when we get started at Chicagoland.
Oh, I think you're going to see the same type of racing we had tonight here at Texas. You know, when we go into week 1 of the season at Chicagoland, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys take from this race and learn. You know, obviously we didn't have every single driver here that's in the league. So that's going to add another, you know, element to everything. But, you know, it's going to be hard to beat these guys that we saw up front.
Well, and just to let everybody know, the Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing Hard Charger Award went to Josh Marcy from H2K Motorsports. Started off in the 19th position, ended up with a top 5 there in 5th place.
Yeah, great drive from him. You know, obviously with avoiding all these accidents that we saw today, to be able to work your way up through the field and, you know, earn yourself, you know, $10. So that's going to go a long way. You'll probably use that for the first race at Chicagoland. So that's always great to see. You know, obviously we've talked about it all night. Couldn't do it without Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing. They're putting a lot behind SRN at Speed Racing Network. So that's great to see from a sponsor.
Yes, it is. And so we are going to be right back. We'll be back next, or actually our next race, is Wednesday. So we have the Truck Series coming here to Texas to do the same thing. Sparkle and Shine 135 at Texas. And same thing is on the line, a 5-week sponsorship for Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing or NexDiag. And so a lot of money on the line this season, a lot of good sponsorships on the line, a lot of fun going down. But for right now, my name is Sean Griffith. I am here with Jake Roel. And everybody, please have a great evening. And we will see you guys Wednesday for the truck race here at Texas. Good night, everybody.
I got one question for you,
Oh,
Sean.
please.
So who picked Daniel Bowler?
Okay, we're gonna sign off with that. You did, Jake. You're 1 for 1, buddy.
There we go. The count has begun for the pick'em.
Sounds good, man. Well, everybody have a fantastic evening. Thank you for watching, and we will see you Wednesday night for the Truck Series race back here at Texas, the Sparkle and Shine 135. Good night, everybody.